This is number 7 in a series of videos about Thornbury FM, a small community radio station in Thornbury, South Gloucestershire, in the southwest of England. Thornbury FM broadcast for 28 days, twice a year, under a short-term restricted service licence, SRSL. It started transmitting on 87.7 FM with simultaneous webcasting in the autumn of 2005, and its final broadcast under that name was its 9th in autumn 2009. This time I want to examine the station's attitude towards using local people in the community radio project. Thornbury FM had, as a constitutional aim, to support local people in acquiring the necessary knowledge, skills and experience in order for them to successfully take part in the activities of the community radio station. So it was good then that Thornbury FM looked to local people to be involved. In fact, the station committed itself to increasing local participation. Here is what it said in the evaluation of the autumn 2007 broadcast. So, by the time that Thornbury FM had been in existence for over 3 years, it should have built up a bank of local people and not need to rely on persons from outside the locality. Let's see how the situation developed by looking at presenters from the spring and autumn 2008 programs. Then, a fairly recent newcomer to Thornbury FM was early music lover Peter Dobbins. Was he encloistered in Thornbury? No, he lived in Aust. It looks like he discontinued his involvement with the station in 2009. Thornbury FM encouraged participation by young people. So what about those fun-loving students, Anthony Giuliano and Sam Dudley? I bet they hung out in Thornbury, didn't they? No. In the town where they lived, Dursley, there was an SRSL broadcaster called Cam FM. And in the town where they studied, Stroud, there was a permanent community radio station called Stroud FM. So why did they need to be on Thornbury FM? And after a brief absence from the airwaves, they returned for a one-off programme in spring 2009. Even now, when the current manifestation of the station supposedly looks to the larger South Gloucestershire area, these two are still presenting on Thornbury's community radio station. Another young person was Mike Shaw. Are we sure he lived in Thornbury? No, a Pilnin resident, and he also returned to the airwaves in 2009. Leona Roberts had a programme called Watching, but was she watching from Thornbury? No, she was an Ormsbury resident. After involvement in several transmissions, it looks like she ceased participation in 2009.
Now hear this crowd of people. I'm on with fix and just have to big up the chest because the taxi driver no honor respect. One time to catch boss, top truck, and ride bike. Oh no, and stand up on the road and hitchhike. But them the things can't go on because Natty drive. Ride the storm, taxi driver.
Okay then, what about another newcomer of the time? Nick Langston, still involved with the current station? Was he a cool, funky resident of Thornbury? No, he was in Bristol. He was back on air in 2009, but since Bristol has two permanent community radio stations, Ujima Radio and BCFM, why did he need to be on Thornbury FM? Alex Gibbs, the self-proclaimed fashionista and unsigned band supporter, joined Thornbury FM from its second transmission. Did she pose in Thornbury? No, she was another Bristol resident and still involved with the station. A newcomer in autumn 2008 was Chris Hendy. Don't tell me he lived in Bristol too. No, he lived in Frampton Cotterell, and he took over the 2-hour home run programme in spring 2009. What about David Wrench, who was with the station from the beginning? Surely he didn't live in Bristol. No, he was another Frampton Cotterell resident who had programmes on Saturday and Sunday in 2009.
Bébé, on va encore danser. On va encore danser, bébé. Ah, maintenant, tu restes, bébé. J'en ai marre. Plus jamais tu sortiras avec moi.
Tu vois maintenant, chérie.
He was also a former presenter on BHBS, Bristol's hospital radio. Yes, and so the list includes all the BHBS presenters who moonlighted on Thornbury FM. Joe Clayton, Ricky Murray, Sue Hazelhurst, Chris Mountain, Ollie Croston, BJS Productions, otherwise known as Ben Park, James Wilson and Stephen Gardner. And they are just the ones from the autumn 2008 broadcast that I know about. They provided the equivalent of 27 weekly hours of broadcast, or 22.5% of the station's 119 weekly hours. Now you might say that is not so bad, but I say that means that at least 13 Thornbury residents were deprived of the opportunity of learning about radio broadcasting and of getting a new, personally rewarding experience, and of sharing their knowledge and music with their own community in a 2-hour programme. It is nothing to be proud of. Instead, Thornbury FM gave valuable airspace to 8 presenters moonlighting from hospital radio, and at least 4 others who, because of where they live or study, could have volunteered at radio stations with a 5-year community radio licence. Thornbury got dumped on. There have also been other non-Thornbury presenters who did not broadcast on Thornbury FM in 2008, but who did so in previous transmissions. Mike Tobin, Chris Caperton, and probably others.
I've been driving in my car. It's not quite a Jaguar. I bought it in Primrose Hill from a bloke from Brazil. It was made in 59 in a factory by the time.
How did these people get involved with Thornbury FM? Surely the station management did not nurture such a situation. Or did it? Here's what it said on Chris Caperton's presenters page. After participation in the station from the beginning, Mike Treble finally became part of the formal management of Thornbury FM, joining the new board of directors in 2009 for a while. This is what Chris Mountain stated in his online contact to the station. Here is Joe Clayton's comment in his online contact. This is what Alex Gibbs said on her online contact. Nothing wrong there, you might think, but she contacted the station on the 3rd of March 2006, and just 2 months later, 4th of May, this Bristol resident was presenting live on air, having merrily leapfrogged other potentially suitable recruits who lived in Thornbury. So while some of the non-resident presenters may have had a connection to Thornbury through work, school or volunteering, it seems that some had been deliberately recruited in preference to people who live in town. So the question has to be asked, was the radio station really meeting its stated constitutional objective of encouraging Thornbury's diverse local creative talent and developing the skills, capabilities and confidence of local people via participation in the project? And the answer has to be no. It bussed in outsiders who bring little or no Thornbury knowledge to their programs. Was the station's management making real inroads with its supposed commitment to providing more opportunities for local people to participate? Was it training more residents? Again, no. It seemed that Thornbury FM was holding on to many of its outsiders and occasionally shopping around for more, when it was supposed to be consolidating itself as a medium for local people by local people. In fact, in the spring 2009 broadcast, participation by non-residents actually increased to at least 35 hours or 30% of the daytime output. So should we have been happy that the trustees and directors of the station were doing all they could to make sure that Thornbury FM was truly for Thornbury residents and by Thornbury residents? Absolutely not. Their performance was rubbish. And yet, to remind you, after the 5th broadcast in autumn 2007, the management had claimed that everyone was committed to ensuring an increased participation by local people. There was no evidence of any significant new participation by adult Thornbury residents, other than family, friends and associates of the Christian minority which controlled the station's management, as will be seen in future videos. Thornbury FM should have been open in every way, at all levels, to all sections of the Thornbury populace. However, it was far from being a genuine Thornbury community radio station, with the high level of participation from many roving Bristolians. Many of them are still involved with the restyled Gloss FM, now supposedly transmitting to the larger South Gloucestershire area, a larger area that they still do not live in.
Singing Bristol Rovers all the way. Everybody can sing. Singing Bristol Rovers all the way. Singing Bristol Rovers. Singing Bristol Rovers. Singing Bristol Rovers all the way. Right on. I wish you wouldn't keep saying that. I can instruct my unit to attack you in a minute. It's very vicious, you know. Oh, when they're in Division 2, what a thrill. Me and Emu will be cheering for them still. Won't we, Emu? But the cheering won't be done till they win Division 1. And the boys of Bristol Rovers know they will. Don't you, lads? Come on then! Singing Bristol Rovers all the way. Singing Bristol Rovers.